everybody. Welcome to another episode of What a Hell of a Way to Dad. It is Francis, and with me again is Jack. Jack in the Jack Shack, where all the Jack magic happens.
I thought you were going to call it the Jerk Shack. The Jack Shack's much better.
Well, the thing is that in the military, we do have a thing called the Jack Shack, which is when you build a defilade of some kind, some way to cover yourself from everybody else. And the thing is that it's not meant specifically for masturbation, but it is one of the things in your mind while you're building it. Because when you would do training, when I would do training in the reserves, and we go to a real military base, they put us in this big open bay full of bunk beds, right? No privacy whatsoever.
Sure.
And look, at a certain point in time, you want to stop looking at the other soldiers that you have to look at every day. And you go home, right? And you still can't stop looking at them because they're still all around you. So
yeah, right.
What some people will do is if they're on the bottom bunk, they'll take sheets or towels and tuck them into the top bunk so that it hangs down and gives you a little bit of privacy. Now, again, I know that there are lots of reasons why one would want privacy, but this is the military, so our assumption is that you're masturbating.
Yeah.
And most of the time that is also, like I said, it's not the full reason, but it's part of the reason.
Or maybe they're just a train enthusiast. They just want to know what it's like to be on a sleeper car, going coast to coast. That's it. I can't watch Thomas while I'm doing this tour of duty, so this is the closest
or maybe
I can get.
If it's really you're in a dry climate, it's I really need to humidify this with my own breath by just keeping all of my own moisture in here with me, because I am slightly like a frog and I need to keep my skin wet at all times.
Cranking it is another way to humidify the area, but it's not humidity you want.
Right. And look, if you really want humidity while cranking it, that's what the Porta-John in the 120-degree weather is for.
Ooh, good times.
Brother, when you are 19, you stop. The thing about the military is it strips away a lot of your humanity, and people think oh, that's how you can kill. It's no, it's how you masturbate in the Porta shitter at 120 degrees. It's that's your humanity stripped away, really. It's just my basest emotions and my most lizard brain is taking over the fact that I am like a child in a hot car, and if I don't do this in 10 minutes, I will die.
Yeah. Sublimate. Just get through this.
7 minutes if you're really working at it. So, you gotta pace yourself out there, boys. You gotta pace yourself.
I turn to this podcast for as many tips as I can about when I enlist. And, that date just keeps getting farther out on my calendar the more that I hear you describe the experience.
I think you're too far out to enlist.
I think you're right.
You're over 40. But we can still make you an officer. You got a college degree, right?
I sure do. Every day I get an email from the post office that tells me what I'm going to get in the mailbox that day.
Oh, yeah?
The advanced postage alert system or whatever. And there's always an ad for something. And I saw an ad that they're hiring for postal inspectors. And I'm like, well, that could be kind of cool. I'd get a badge. I could do high stakes, crime enforcement. But, it's the mail. This is not, it's not DEA level stuff. But I'm way past the eligibility period. I'm 10 years too old to even audition. Is that what it's called? Auditioning?
Yeah. Training. I don't know.
They put you on stage and to get you to open mail as quickly as possible. All right, you passed the audition.
Well, no, it's actually not opening mail. If you can deliver mail completely closed and intact, I think you're good. And look, you don't want to mess with the post office cops, man. They will come. Nobody wants to get perp walked by a guy in a windbreaker that says postal inspector on the back.
Yeah, come on. Oh, it's so deflating. Everyone wants to be Luigi Mangione.
Right. It's no, I want FBI, CIA. It's it's Al Capone getting busted for tax evasion. It's the same kind of I got taken down because I opened my neighbor's mail by accident when it was delivered to the wrong place.
Yeah, man. Vladimir Putin getting perp walked by a mall cop. Yeah, that's a similar premise.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I'm way too old, turns out. I have much of the eligibility requirements, but I have aged out of that possibility. So.
Well, you probably have a few, you probably also are a little too smart, a little too, around the corners thinking, if you, to be fair, to be any kind of cop, and I say this with love because my brother just retired as a Parks Ranger LEO, but, you gotta be kind of I would say 95, 100 IQ, it's not not your top reaches. I said again, I'm going to have my brother on to talk about being a park ranger though, because that was
right on. Here, hang on. Let me edit this and just get that drop really fast, just to play it right at the top of the episode.
My cop brother. Look, he's my older brother. I insult him all the time. It's fine. He likes to say that between the two of us, we've both been on a deployment overseas. He spent 30 plus years in the Army and never left the country somehow. So I don't.
Wow.
Yeah, I did 2 deployments. So he's stealing my valor, but he is in the military. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know how that works out, but we're mad about it.
He's also like clearly pushing the right side of that bell curve because yes, he was law enforcement, but it was for the Parks Department and more specifically at the St. Louis Arch. So
right.
Clearly he's got it going on upstairs.
Right. He likes to joke that like he made sure that nobody stole the arch and flew it into a building. So yeah, which true. That is, and you know, if there's got to be worse parks to be a part of. He has. I'm not going to tell any of his park stories that I know because I don't know how many of them are okay to talk about now that he's retired.
Well, and have him on. I want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and now that he's no longer a government employee, I can get him stoned. So we're gonna get high and we're gonna talk. Yeah. He's been working for the government since he was 18. He joined the Army and then joined the Parks Department and then was just government employee until I think a week ago at this point.
Oh my gosh. Well, kudos to him. Are recording devices allowed at the St. Louis Arch? Are you screened for those, or could you bring like a little handheld recorder?
They don't. Yeah, they don't stop you. Like they make you go through a metal detector, but you know that's for weapons and stuff. Or
even like an iPhone.
Yeah, you're not going to stop people from bringing in a recording device to a national park. Like people want to take pictures and videos and everything. So yeah, there's plenty of.
Dude, there's your episode. Hotbox the car, and then get through security, and then you guys could just spend an hour talking about the arch, allow the sensory experience to conjure up some vivid memories that he can share for the podcast. I would love to do a walk along. It would be amazing.
Yeah, as 2 veterans, ranting in our car is kind of our main place to rant about things. But I want to bring him on. He's got a lot of good stories. He has, like I said, spent 30 years. I got some great embarrassing pictures of him. I think my favorite was the water hobo that we came across one time. There was a unhoused gentleman, but he seemed to be like, not in economic dire straits, but kind of living that way. Uh-huh. And this was during one of our flood years. So the flood waters were up, but not like, 93, not destructive everywhere. Kind of, the arch is up on a hill, and then there's this big staircase that goes down to Lenore K. Sullivan Boulevard, and then there's the river. So sometimes the river comes up and can cover that lower road. It's fine. It's kind of a service road anyway. So during one of these flood times, my wife and I were down at the arch enjoying the arch grounds, and there was a guy in a canoe and with all of his worldly possessions, and he had a bucket full of water with a duck in it. To keep the duck wants water, but the river, the Mississippi River, is big and mighty. Yeah. And it's also a ship. Like the Mississippi River is not a thing to like, oh, let's go tubing down the Mississippi. Nobody does that because it's a highway basically. It's a shipping. Yeah, it's the interstate. Lane. Yeah. So, but this guy, living his best life with his canoe full of things, his bucket with a duck in it, and was moored up and postulating to everybody. And my brother was on duty at the time, and he was at the top of the stairs, and it's like, yeah, you guys got a water hobo down there. And he's just like, yeah, he comes and goes. He's fine.
Amazing.
And I went down and I talked with, like, he had, look, you can't be a guy that just like paddles up on a canoe with a duck in a bucket and people not be like, obviously I need to talk to you for the next hour.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, he had a nice little crowd. We all went down and he just, introduced us to I don't remember the duck's name, but he had all of his things. He was talking about life on the river. So, one of my wife and I, our biggest dreams, our dream home is over in Illinois. There are houses that are on the bluff that overlook the Mississippi River in Alton. And the prices are not bad, like $300,000-$400,000 for 2,500 square feet on a bluff overlooking a river. Yeah,
crazy.
You have to live in Alton, Illinois, which some people probably would balk at. I would love it. I would love to have that. I would love to have like a daily live stream where I just like talk about barge traffic on the river at 7:00 in the morning, do the barge report. So
the barge report of the 7s and 9s. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. keep an eye on the tugboats going up. Looks like we're loading up some coal coming up from the going down south to go to the coal-driven power plants that we have down on the boot heel of Missouri. You know,
it's more interesting than what people typically talk about when they get old, which is just the weather. So that's much better. It's a variation of weather. It's just shipping weather.
Exactly, and it really taps into like everybody's got their like brain spiciness, right? And everybody wants to. I'm sure that there's people out there who are like, well, I never knew that I wanted to hear about barge traffic for an hour, but that has lit up a whole bunch of things in my brain. So
oh, totally. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm hung up on an image from just a second ago of the water hobo. So this guy's got a boat, and in the boat, he's got essentially a pool for a duck.
Yes, like a 5-gallon bucket.
And a duck is basically a boat. So you've got a boat in a pool in a boat, and then that boat is in the Mississippi River. But what if going down the Mississippi River on your barge talk, there was like a large enough, like pleasure like ship that had its own pool, and you could get the water hobo in that pool. So then you'd have a duck in a pool, in a boat, in a pool, in a boat on the river. That gets my brain spiciness going. I want to see how far we can get this going.
How many boats can we stack on top of a duck and vice versa?
Yeah, or could the duck have like a little thimble with a little tiny boat in it? I think I want to get microscopic with it.
Yeah. We'll put, how many ducks can we put on the head of a pin that we jab in the back of this other duck?
Oh man, I would listen to barge talk, even if there were a possibility of that being a topic for a show. I'm in. I'm sold. That scratches my brain spiciness.
Yeah, I'd have to do some like on point barge reports, like direct from St. Louis down where the cobblestones are, where they have the we have 2 riverboats that do riverboat cruises up and down the river. It's the Becky Thatcher and the Tom Sawyer, because we're Missourians and we can't get over.
These are like the classic like paddle boats.
Yes, they are. Yeah. They are engine driven, but they are constructed as paddle boats. They're great. They always have like every year they're trying to do something a little bit different. They did one where they did a lock and dam tour, and north of St. Louis is where, like, St. Louis to Minneapolis, there's like 27 locks and dams. And then south of St. Louis, there's nothing, because it's, you're stair-stepping the river down. From like, I think it's like 1,000 feet elevated in Minnesota down to like 400 or 500 feet. So, you
Crazy.
gotta, you got to stair-step that down. And they would take you through the locks and dams. So you could go up and you would hit the first, I don't know what the first one is, the Melvin Price Lock and Dam. But you go through like 2 of them, and then you turn around and you come back and you go through the locks and dams. But it kind of just like when would you ever see these massive multi-million-dollar projects that the government built, decades ago, that are still working on a daily basis, like still being used every day? You don't get to see those. Like parts of those infrastructure that
totally
you don't really realize, and you don't get a chance to spend time with.
I don't know if I want to see 27 of them.
No.
I think I could handle 2.
You only need 1. Look, again, Jack, you come to St. Louis, you need to come for a week, because after we do the City Museum, I'm going to take you to the Melvin Price Lock and Dam, where they have a museum attached to it. It's a federal museum. I think it's a Parks Department museum too. And they have, the inside is all, here's about wetland wildlife around here. Here's about, the construction of the locks and dams. Here's like little, things that kids can play with, turning a lock off and closing the dam, using the locks. Because the locks, the idea is you raise and lower the water, so you're not just rushing down, downriver. And then you can go up on top of the lock. Like they do tours, like 3 tours a day, where they take you on an elevator. You go to the top of the lock. If you're really lucky, you can see a boat that's going through, and you can watch the whole operation there. But Jack, I gotta tell you, the best thing about the Melvin Price Lock and Dam Center is it has a barge simulator, where you can simulate driving a barge through the lock and dam.
Wow.
And it's a big, it's not just like, here's a couple of controls that you and a button. They create, crudely, but they create a whole bridge, like tugboat bridge. And so you have to, with your rudders, because you don't have a steering wheel, you're in the back. So when you're moving left and right, you got to, figure out how the front is going to move. And you got to get that into this lock, which is not very big, and go through the lock. You can also try to drive it underneath bridges. So it's just like, hey, drive this barge through the 4 bridges in St. Louis and don't hit any of them. I hit the first one every time. So tugboat captain, not my forte, but it's the only place that I can practice. Nobody's getting me on top of the actual tugboats to do this.
Gives you a lot of empathy for, what was that? Like during the pandemic, there was that like Maersk shipping container that was somehow like sideways, like high centered in the middle of the Panama Canal. Is that what it was?
It wasn't the Panama, it was the Suez
Canal. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and they
That's
brought
good.
the
And we're all working on empathy. Like you try to pilot a tugboat and get back to me about the world's funniest punchline.
Yeah, everybody who made fun of that pilot, you come to St. Louis and stand in line at the Melvin Price Lock and Dam, and you enjoy the taxidermy, and you enjoy the barge simulator, and you see how hard it is. See if you can do it.
Damn, it turns out Douglas Adams was wrong. St. Louis is the answer to everything. The bloomin' onion of the Midwest.
We really are a cornucopia of fucked up stuff.
Wow, man. You got your show caves, you got your barge simulator, you've got the shooting location for at least one Percy Jackson movie/show.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We should, Michael, my brother and I should hotbox the top of the arch.
Yeah.
Go up to the top of the arch, clear everybody else. I mean, I got married at the top of the arch, so we might as well.
Wait, are you really?
Yeah, we got married up there. Yeah.
An impromptu thing, or can you like just cordon the whole thing off?
No, you so the rule is that it's federal property.
Yeah.
And they're not going to shut down the top of the arch for you, but you can go up there and and perform a ceremony if you want. Like, there's a lot of room. You can probably fit maybe, like, if you really tried, probably about 40 people comfortably, 40 or 50 people comfortably in the top of the arch. We only brought up about 15.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go up there, you can go through the ceremony. We had a lot of Japanese tourists taking pictures of us. I imagine I was on some cute Facebook pages at that time when my wife
big in Japan,
and I were
yeah.
up there. Yeah, big in Japan.
That's incredible. Wow.
Apparently like 100 something, like this is not a new thing. People do this all the time.
Yeah.
It is,
Wow, that's awesome. Did you like bring folding chairs up, or was this more of like
it was a quick thing. It's my wife and I are fairly non-secular. It was kind of that, like, we're going to do the ceremony part for the family, and then we'll go downstairs and sign all the actual paperwork that needs to be signed. But, it's a wedding. Everybody wants to dress up nice and look nice. So we did that, and we went to the top of the arch. My brother got us free. No, I had to pay. My brother wasn't working then. My brother wasn't there, I don't think. He may have been out of town. But it was like, I think the wedding altogether cost like $150 to go to the top of the arch for everybody, and then we went to the casino for breakfast.
Yes! Wow, that is my kind of thrift. I thought our wedding was pretty cheap, but it wasn't that cheap.
Well, later, 6 months later, we did our reception at a place called the Magic House in St. Louis, which is like a kids' playground area. It was weird because like it is really meant for children, but at the time they were like, yeah, if you want to rent it out for a function, that's fine. And like all of our friends had fun because everybody knew the Magic House from when they were kids. They hadn't really gone to the Magic House since they were kids. There were a lot of additions and new things. So, and there was alcohol. So, everybody drank some booze and then went around and played with all the kids stuff around.
Yeah, getting lit at Showbiz
fun.
Pizza.
I mean, that's awesome. Kind of what you already do already.
Yeah, good point.
Showbiz. Do you guys still have Showbiz out there?
No, it's completely gone. But
it's gone.
I went to Showbiz a few times. I have family in Indiana and used to live there, but I went back a few times, and my Uncle Bob did something called Lucky Day because I was kind of the only young cousin in my generation.
Are you a youngest too?
Yeah, I have a cousin that's 2 years older than me, but like he just hated me and made no bones about it. I was such a drag for him,
sure.
And they didn't stick around long. Like they'd come to functions and bail, so I'd be stuck there with my dad, who was like super into squeezing every dollar of value out of a plane ticket. So we'd fly, from Seattle to, southern Indiana and stay way too long, like 8 or 9 days. Cause my dad's like, dude, if we're spending, $500 on airplane tickets or whatever it cost back in the 80s, like we're going to make it worth our while.
I would pay more to leave Indiana faster though.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Can I pay $100 for you to shorten this trip at all?
Yeah. I'd walk around Evansville, Indiana and see like plasma clinics and wondering like how much plasma would it take to get me out of here? Yeah, really on top of my fluid game as a 12-year-old. But yeah, my uncle would take me on something called Lucky Day, which was the one thing I'd look forward to because there were go-karts in town and there was a Showbiz Pizza. So I went there multiple times. But there's a movie about the Showbiz Pizza band, the Rock-afire Explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, which most of them got turned into whatever the Chuck E. Cheese band is. Like the exact animatrons just got reskinned with the mouse instead of whatever was it, Showbiz Pizza. But it's like the same robots.
I guess was it still a mouse? I don't remember.
No, it was a bunch of animals, I think. There was like a bear and I don't know.
I know the whole band ensemble was multiple animals. I don't know. I think that Showbiz still was a mouse as their main, but I don't know. There's no reason to dig those memories up. Something else will get lost if I remember, so don't say it.
Yeah. One of my favorite fun facts about Chuck E. Cheese, by the way. Do you know what the E stands for in Chuck E. Cheese?
What does it stand for?
Entertainment. It's
Charles
true.
Entertainment Cheese.
Yeah, Charles. Yeah, entertainment is his middle name.
Sure. I do love Chuck E. Cheese. We have one kind of nearby, and my wife and I had that we have a kid that's Chuck E. Cheese age. And we have a Chuck E. Cheese here, and so let's go check it out. And I will say that we went on a Tuesday, so we didn't go on a fight night. So it was pretty low key. But you can definitely get drunk at Chuck E. Cheese. You can get trash there, and the pizza wasn't bad. It's pizza for kids.
It's Domino's quality or whatever.
Which is perfectly fine. My 10-year-old does not have a complex palate. She can have Chuck E. Cheese. I had Chuck E. Cheese. That's fine. I do though, as a video gamer and somebody who's been playing video games since I was, a wee one since I was 10. I spent some time in arcades, but the physicality, and maybe this is my miserliness, but of constantly I lost, here's another $1 to keep playing. That just after 4 of those, I'm just what am I doing? Because I've been here for 6 minutes and I've spent $4.
Totally. Yeah. Classic adult syndrome. Kids do not feel that way.
Well, a lot of adults don't feel that way either. That's why
good
they
point.
gamble.
Yeah, I've been to Las Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very lucky. Look, I have my vices, everybody does. But gambling has never been one of them. So I did that a little bit with her. You gotta maximize your ticket games so you can get something at the end of it. But we did it. I think we went once, maybe twice, and haven't felt the need to go back after because we'll just go. My daughter and I will just go play Pokemon or something.
Totally.
All these other arcade games. She loves an arcade, but I don't know. She likes the claw games. I'm a big fan of coin pusher games, and anything else I'm really not into.
Yeah.
When you're in arcade, where are you going first, Jack?
There, let's see. I feel like I've been to arcades. Well, we've got the Family Fun Center near us. I'm sure that's everywhere, some variation on it. It's got go-karts, which is my draw. And, just I'll hang out with the kids long enough to swipe their card enough. I guess that's part of my issue is that it's all card based. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird economy where, you convert dollars to points, but the points have no bearing on actual, value. It's just it's an integer. And, that integer is between 4 and 20 for various games. So kids have no idea what they're spending on. And they're like, yeah, that was fun. It lasted 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. You just spent $3 in 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. So I hate it. I mean, at least if you're jumping on a go-kart, first of all, it's long. So you're going to really experience something and you'll probably remember that experience.
Yeah.
And it's, maybe $10 to do a race per person, but it's totally worth it. I even as a kid, I remember we used to have something called Aladdin's Castle.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also totally 80s thing and maybe into the 90s. I think they were at malls. I thought it was just at my local college mall in Bloomington, Indiana, but it turned out they were all over. We'd go and my dad would give me a $5 bill and I'd get a straight up roll of quarters, like that. Like when you put a 5 in and the quarter machine just explodes on you. That was the best. But even early on, it was I would choose games based on the duration. I knew that I could play Spy Hunter forever. And I really liked that game. But that game was so sick. It was,
I worked at the first restaurant that I worked at was called Fitz's. And for a brief time, they had they had 2 arcade machines upstairs in the bar. And one of them was Area 51, which was the shooter, a light gun shooter game. And I played that game so much that I was able to beat the whole thing in $1.
Wow.
And that was, so I really I've never felt a need to do that again. I've never felt a need to 100% a game or like I have to be able to do this. But for some reason, I think it was because I was a teenager and had nothing better to do with my break time other than, smoke cigarettes underage and play video games. So that's just what we did.
Yeah, totally.
Chunked a lot of dollars into that. But also like a quarter would get me a good 5 minutes worth of game time in the beginning, which is a much better value.
Oh, totally. Pinball is really great for durational value too. Like if you know that you're a kid, you've been dropped off in your 1980s mall and you've got to make this X number of quarters last for the hour and a half until they pick you up. Like you either make them last or you're just going to be either sitting watching people play, which is the lamest experience. Pockets empty, like looking on the floor for lost quarters. Or you're going to be hanging out like on a bench just waiting to be picked up with no cell phone, no possibility of nagging to get someone to come pick you up. Oh my gosh.
Can't page your mom because you used all your quarters. So like you can't use the payphone to beep your mom to come pick you up.
Yeah, it was like a prison sentence. I feel like I learned so much about like how to budget just on that experience. Like I'm stuck at the college mall for 2 hours right now and there ain't nothing that's getting me out of this.
I've got $5 to last 2 hours. And look, back then $5 will still get you further than today, but that's still not real far.
Oh, $5 will get you a pair of jeans and an orange Julius, but not anymore. By the way, this probably happened before you and I last talked, but we went to Whistler in BC where they have orange Julius. Like they still have it. I don't know if you're familiar with orange.
I've heard the name. Okay. I don't know what it is.
Oh my gosh. It was big mall food. It's like as ubiquitous as whatever those pretzels are. Exactly. Yeah. It was just a weird, like milky orange juice drink, like not quite a smoothie. I don't quite know what it was exactly. But there was the orange Julius and the strawberry Julius. And it was like at the crossroads of the Bellevue Square Mall where I spent a lot of my time in middle school.
I do remember those. They were briefly replaced with boba tea. I remember there was a bubble tea craze that happened maybe about 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's about right.
Most of those places have disappeared because people didn't want to eat little balls of tapioca, understandably. But yeah, I'm glad. Every time, like we have a couple of malls around here and it's always surprising to see what's still hanging on. Like Hot Topic continues to be Hot Topic. It has never changed. They occasionally add in new fandom stuff, but it's still all Corpse Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas, Invader Zim, and the absolute worst band t-shirts you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah, it's incredible. My daughter was really excited. She was doing some like late back to school shopping over the weekend and found a place that you can still buy Forever 21 clothes, which that store has apparently closed, which is funny because turns out it wasn't forever.
Never.
Temporarily 21.
It never is. Yeah. Spencer's still exists. I think Spencer's has leaned harder into the we also sell dildos side of things.
Whoa, wait, that was like Brookstone, right?
No, Spencer's Gifts was like if a Hot Topic could look messier, that was Spencer's Gifts. And they always had in the far back was the like really cheap and like jokey sex toys. And it seems like they have kind of expanded. I didn't go into I didn't take my kid into Spencer's because I'm like, I don't know what you're going to see in here that I have to explain.
Yeah.
I don't. I could take you into Hot Topic. You understand everything going on in there, but like I can't explain the back wall of Spencer's to you.
Dad, what is a realistic Jeff Stryker? What is that? Right. What does that mean?
Look, Dad, you can buy handcuffs.
Is that a cucumber? What is that?
So we got that. The Spencer's and the Hot Topic. Our local West County Mall, which is the nice fancy rich people mall, the Yankee Candle closed. But I don't know if this is because I knew that the Yankee Candle was there or because it was there for so long, but that area still smells like scented wax.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I'm going to say there is a Bath and Body Works that's nearby, and my wife said, I think you're smelling that. I'm like, no, it smells like scented wax specifically.
Yeah.
It smells like wax.
I'm pretty sensitive to that stuff. And my daughter tried to rope me into a Bath and Body Works recently, and I couldn't make it in the store for longer than like 15 seconds. Like it was just a full-on assault.
I've smelled some bad stuff. So like, but I get it's a sensory overload when you've got 27 smells hitting you all at once. So
yeah, I just feel like you can feel them. There's a point with smell where you can literally feel it in the air.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It does. It gets behind your eyes.
It does.
That's how I always feels like there's a pressure behind my eyes because my brain is like, why am I smelling vanilla, cinnamon, mahogany, firewood here?
Yeah.
I don't get this.
You know, like early in COVID, there was this rash of people like Yelp reviewing Yankee Candle. Or, you know, like on their store, like, yeah, I bought a vanilla aroma candle. I can't smell it at all. These candles suck. What happened? And the CDC was actually able to start tracing COVID outbreaks based on Yankee Candle ratings.
Yankee Candle reviews.
Yeah, totally. It's so incredible.
You go where the data is, man. You can't force data. You go where it's at.
Honestly, I would go for long COVID if it meant I never had to smell a Yankee Candle ever again. I mean, driving by them, I can smell it. It's insane.
Yeah, it's too much. So we've got, what else do we have? A big thing inside of malls now is just like people who have estate sales running 24/7. So rather than do an estate sale where you go and you show up and you say, yes, I want to buy that, they just like have a storefront with like, here's the things that I've got latest from my estate sales that I picked up.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, there's a way to do that correctly, and the ones that I've seen are usually they're well laid out. You know, things are categorized. You know, toys go here, collectibles go here, things like that. So that's a big one in malls these days. When's the last time you've been to a mall?
Pretty recently, because you know my kids always have like some fascination. Like my son is kind of, I don't know, he has this recurring Lego fascination where he'll want to go to the Lego store just out of the blue, so he'll drag us to the Alderwood Mall or something like that. Yeah, and you know, like he wants to get a pair of Timberlands, which you can only get in 3 places. Yeah,
right.
And it's got to be right now. It's Saturday. We have got nothing going on. So yeah, we get roped in there.
Obviously, your dad has $150 to burn for your Timberlands.
Oh my gosh, we did suck it up and buy him a pair of Timbos for Christmas last year, but we bought him like 2 sizes too big. It's like, dude, if we're gonna drop this kind of cash, first of all, this is your main present, and these are gonna last.
They're built to last. That means that you need to, so you're taking a gamble on how big his feet are going to get.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, playing the futures market.
I need to pick up a pair of Doc Martens. I recently bought a kilt, and I don't have any like black boots to go with it. So I guess I have to. Yeah, I got drunk at an Irish festival, so you know how that happens.
Oh wow! You bought him there? You bought him in the room? That's amazing. Well,
we were in Kansas City over Labor Day. They have a big Irish festival, and my daughter was dancing in an Irish dance competition.
Yeah.
So Kansas City, it's all one big part of it. You know, the Irish Fest is there, and at the hotel where the dance competition's taking place. So they have a lot of people who are selling things at the festival, a lot of music. And yeah, last year I didn't get drunk enough to buy a kilt, but this year I did. I had 2 high ABV beers and was just like, no, I'm doing it. I'm not going to talk myself out of buying a kilt. So I bought a kilt, but now I got to buy all the accoutrements. I got a belt. I got a big fat leather belt. My father-in-law gave me a hat from when he went to Ireland, and he's like, I don't wear this hat. You can have that. So now all I need are the boots.
Wow.
I think, unfortunately, I got rid of, unfortunately, for my own health, I threw away the boots that were assigned to me in basic training 20 plus years ago. Now, those boots were very black and very shiny, but also the heel was about a ½ inch thick.
Oh, yeah.
At that point, because they were army boots. They were cheap army boots. But
yeah.
And I gotta expand my footwear, I guess.
Yeah, they're going to add kilts to the field sobriety test put on by police on the side of the road. Like if you're driving erratically and they pull you over before even making you recite the alphabet backwards or touch your nose, they're just going to just do a quick visual like, oh, he's got a kilt, book him. The guy's drunk.
Your ABV goes up 0.04 just putting a kilt on.
Yeah,
and that's just how it goes. And while that's not illegal, that beer you're having is. So
yeah. Oh man!
Something, Jack, that I wanted to talk, and I want to start doing this as a something to talk about with other people too. But we're going to start with you. We're going to start here.
Oh man! This is the shakedown. Let's see if this concept works.
This is we're gonna start field testing this. I think a big problem that a lot of dudes have today, dudes our age and younger, is that they don't have a hobby other than being online.
True that, yeah.
We got to fix that, Jack.
Yeah.
And you and I can be at the forefront of this. And the way to fix this, I feel, is, it's the adage of idle hands are the devil's plaything, right? You're sitting around, you don't have anything better to do. You're going to go online and be angry about things.
It's been designed to suck you in, for sure.
Exactly. So
I completely agree with this.
What are your hobbies? What is it that like keeps you from looking at the internet?
Okay, so I'm actually going to pick up my webcam right now, and I'm going to show you
the wall of guitars.
Yeah, no. Pretty soon after I got laid off from SiriusXM, I don't know if you can read these.
Yeah, I can kind of read it.
I did a values assessment on myself of like just deep dive in like what are the things, like the categories of things that tend to make me happiest and that I feel most curious, or the places that I feel like I have the most to learn. And I came up with 8 things, and I actually wrote them on color-coded Post-it notes just as a visual reminder of like, here's the stuff that for me keeps my brain active and that I'm just naturally drawn to do. So for me, it's building stuff, volunteering, reading, producing like audio production, making music, socializing, exercise, and cooking. And not all these are things that like cooking was an aspirational goal. Like I know how to cook, but I always find like I put it off for the last minute. I've never got the recipe or the ingredients. I really want to make that like a focus area. And so I got this idea from when I was teaching. We, as part of like professional development, we brought in a guy named Ron Richard, who is sort of like a schools expert about how do you create a mission for a school that you're really going to live by, like a core set of principles that are really going to drive you. And this really is applicable to any organization. And his thing is like, you can really have between 3 and 5 guiding principles. And if you hang them up, like literally hang them up everywhere, if you codify them into your documents and your mission statement and all that, and you really repeat these words constantly, it's just going to be this, explicit reminder of here's the stuff that we believe and that we should be acting on. If you have too many things, you can't possibly do them all. But if you can really like dig deep, look inward, and focus on the stuff for you that you're most passionate about, you really can focus and make everything relate to those mission statement items. So I just had the thought of like, I did this back in college. Back in college, the 4 things I was interested in were music, working with kids, doing graphic design, and writing. And in one way or another, I was doing all those things, but I really hadn't done that for 25 years. And doing this again has been super illuminating for me, because at any time that I'm like, what am I going to do right now? Like I'm just kind of moping around the house. I got nothing going on. If I just glance up at these words, one of them will get me. Like just seeing the word will be like, oh yeah, actually, there's something that I kind of backburner that I, kind of forgot about doing, but I could start doing now. So I find that I'm only really doing about 3 of these things at a time. I really can't do more than that.
Sure.
But I'm constantly cycling through them. So for instance, I just painted my house. Yeah. As soon as we're done talking, this is going to be my last painting day. It's going to be 87 here.
So wait a minute, is this first coat?
This is end of second coat. Okay, like I'm doing like final trim touch-ups. And in theory, I'm going to finish today. I've been working on this for 6 weeks. My house is at its highest point 32 feet off the ground.
I've been telescoping like...
I've been using them. Yeah, I had to use them on the eaves. But we have an old like 1908 craftsman house with just tons of interesting millwork details and things. And I've had to figure out like how to get in all these places and get it done.
Look at my little architectural design. Yeah, I got to go clean a dead squirrel out of your architectural design.
Yeah,
because you decided to make 2 corners meet in a weird way. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so like that, I have always liked building stuff. I've remodeled basically our whole house. During COVID, I finished our basement, which was like 1,000-foot space that was unfinished, and turned it into a media room and a guest room and added a bathroom.
Fuck, I need to invite you. Yeah, you're going to come to St. Louis and you're going to work.
Yeah, totally.
I got a basement that needs to be refinished too.
That one-day visit that suddenly became a 1-week visit is now a 1-month visit. Yeah, I need with a honey-do list.
I hope you enjoyed the chess world, the chess museum that we have. Go throw some drywall up for me.
Yeah, totally. For volunteering, I've always wanted to volunteer and I always had time, but I just never made it a priority. So I signed up with our local food bank to do food rescue every week. So I drive to grocery stores and pick up, food from other departments and deliver it. I bought a really nice road bike last summer, and I haven't ridden over the last 6 weeks because I've been on a ladder, but tomorrow I'm going to go on my first ride in a month and a half. So I find like being able, not even like the specific hobby. I mean, I agree with your thesis that like you really got to have stuff to turn to. For me personally, it's less about the exact hobby because I know that like my interests are always kind of changing, but getting a little deeper of like there are hobbies, but those scratch the surface of like a deeper core passion. For me, once I have kind of identified those passions, it really helps me know where to put my energy.
Yeah.
So, you know, socializing, like it's weird to write it down as like a hobby or an aspirational goal, but it's super important. But and I've really made a point of like I see that thing multiple times a day, and it just jogs my memory of like what's happening, what's coming up, what can I put together, who are some people that I could text just out of the blue, not even with an agenda, but just like, you know, how can I make that something? Yeah. That's kind of my philosophy.
Yeah, I like that. We recently try to have like maybe about once a month, kind of open the house up on Friday and tell our friends, hey, if you need a third space to come and look at people in the real world instead of, you know, the internet world, you can come do that.
Totally. Yeah, that's awesome.
And also just, you know, like, hey, here's a safe place to come to, which I think is going to be incredibly important to people going forward, to have that, like, you've got to have a place where you go and see people face to face. Like, even if it's your buddies, you got to go see people face to face. You got to go out into the world and do stuff. My wife went to an arts and crafts meetup yesterday at the library, something that she'd been psyching herself up for, like, over the last couple of weeks, and she went yesterday. And, you know, it's just that, like, it's hard to socialize, especially when so many of us have been shut in for so long.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people didn't come out of their houses after, you know, I mean, obviously COVID's not done, but, you know, once vaccines were available and once things started to get back to normal, a lot of people were like, well, I'm perfectly comfortable in my house doing my thing and not talking to anybody. And that's where we start to see our problems. And
those algorithms are really good at filling any extra spaces, and it's very comfortable. I mean, It's just like, you know, a generation ago, back when you used to sit on the couch with the remote and just constantly flip, like something about that experience. You don't have to do any thinking. Yeah. All the thinking is being done for you, and your brain can get just like tractor beamed right into what's happening there.
And so for cable didn't have the ability to be like, well, I know you like watching Red Bull videos, so here's some more Red Bull videos of, like, you know, people going down a mountain on a bike for you. Like, cable couldn't do that, and that's what's more insidious about, like, your TikToks and your Instagram, is that it's like, oh, I know what you like, and I know what pisses you off. I know what keeps you moving here to stay on this website. And I find myself kind of pulling back from Blue Sky a lot too, just because I don't want to be online. Like, it's not as cool as it was. It's not as fun as it was. Sometimes if you say something that you think is a joke, like 500 people come and yell at you.
Oh, totally.
Not a thing that's happened to me, but like I've definitely put jokes out there that I could have gotten yelled at just because I've been on the internet for like 30 years. I'm an insensitive bastard online sometimes, but you know, I'm not. I pull back a lot because I can see the way that things are changing online. The internet space is changing, but also because I'm 42, I'm not an asshole anymore. So I don't want to be an asshole on the internet.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have that thought process.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to have that thought process when you're having your thoughts and feelings validated, you know, with all those dopamine hits that come with every like or comment that you get on your social media posts. I haven't posted on social media aside from for professional reasons, for like 7 or 8 years, probably. But even for professional reasons, like when I was doing my podcast and dropping 3 episodes a week, like I definitely would look and see like, okay, how many people are reacting to this new drop that I just did? You know, how, I think you're just looking for affirmation anywhere that you can find it.
Right.
And it's so intoxicating when occasionally hundreds or thousands of people can affirm you in a way that to you feels like, oh, this amazing, genuine thing. I'm being embraced by the hive mind. Society likes me. I'm doing something worthwhile and important. Like I remember on Facebook, when I was on Facebook a long time ago, you know, birthdays were super fun because if you had encoded your birthday into your profile, you would get hundreds of happy birthdays from people all over the world who are so thinking about you today and they're really walking in your image. And the truth is, because on the other side of that, every day that you log into Facebook, you're served up with 10, look whose birthday it is today. Do you want to say happy birthday to them? And it's just like click, 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 happy birthday. I didn't even give it a 1 second of attention. It's just, it feels that way. But when you pull back from that and realize like this, I mean, yes, in a very small way, this is a person that wanted to send you this vibe. But in reality, it has no basis in reality.
Right.
It's people were tricked to do this, you know?
Yeah. And it has that same, like, if you mention like, oh, it's my birthday today, and somebody says, oh, happy birthday, I didn't know. You know, it has that same, you know, it's very casual, but like it's different when it comes through a notification. It's different when it comes through a ping that lights up a thing inside of your brain. And I took that off a long time ago because I think the first birthday that I had, I was like, wow, a lot of these people are telling me happy birthday and it's really clogging up my feed and this is annoying. So it wasn't even like these people don't care about me. It was just like, you guys, there's too many of you. Fuck off. Like too many friends. Too many friends here.
I'm too busy day trading. Stop it.
I've got memes to post, damn it.
I gotta poke a bunch of people right now.
Yeah, this is 2009, so like the memes were terrible. It's like, you know, Success Kid shit. It wasn't even good.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, this is, you know, classic old man shakes fist at cloud stuff. But I think a lot about social media and how hollow it feels in terms of my own kids and their social development and what they are or aren't getting from that world. And, neither is anywhere near social media. Mm-hmm. The closest they're on it is they each have devices and they're allowed to text with friends, which to me, that actually is a truly social connection. Yeah, I mean, that it's digital. You're not reading micro expressions and, you know, seeing each other face to face. And it's not even the same level of humanity that you would get if you were on the phone like we used to be for hours, tying up the family phone line back in the 80s. But it's at least at the very least, you know, you're talking to a person that you know, and that soon, hopefully, you'll see them in person and reinforce that connection. This is sort of a little Band-Aid on a relationship that can't always be happening, but you'll see them again and really connect with them. I'm comfortable with that. But yeah, my kids are nowhere near social media, and the longer we can wait on that, the better. Yeah,
I have been keeping my daughter away from social media. I mean, she's 10, so she's not really. We finally got her to stop asking about Roblox when we said, look at all of these articles about how many creeps and perverts are on Roblox and how Roblox is stopping the people who are trying to stop the creeps and the creeps. So we don't want you on Roblox. It's like, I understand that it's got all these games and you think that there's something going on here. There really isn't. You have access to all these other games and all these other things that you can do. And she's happy with that. Like she has, you know, we homeschool. So like socially, you know, she does dance class. She has friends. She doesn't really have people that she talks to on a daily basis other than me and her mother. So, you know, 'cause she doesn't go to school. So I worry about that sometimes, but she's never shy in new places. She loves to go to a new place and find new kids to run around with.
Yeah.
She's never met a stranger and she's never met a kid that she can't be a friend with. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that, like, I worry about that because, you know, myself and my wife are both, I'm not going to say introvert shut-ins, but we don't do that very much. We're not looking for like, I want to go out and make new friends. We're 40. We're in our 40s. We have friends, but we, you know, give her that space to run around in. And thankfully, so far, it seems to be keeping her brain somewhat normal. But, you know, it's still like any kid, though. Like if a tablet with colors flashes in front of them, though, you got to get the quick snaps in front of them and be like, hey, no. Yeah. Just like a dog, you got to get the clicker to break concentration. It's like, no, you pay attention to me. Here's your
eyes up here, Michael. Up here, Michael.
Here's some Cheerios. Like, good kid, Cheerio.
Totally. Yeah, it's interesting. My daughter just started middle school. It's the same school that my son just finished, who's now in high school. There definitely is some degree of social pressure to be in these realms. Luckily, I think this is a school, at least her environment so far, it's only been a few weeks, where there are enough parents on the same page as we are that she's not hearing from a lot of people like, oh, you got to get on Snapchat. You're missing everything important that's happening. So far, she seems pretty zenned out with what's happening. But there's definitely a point for a lot of families where their kids come home with that of like, by telling me that I can't, exist in these spheres, you're actively severing me from a significant chunk of my social experience because everyone else that I know is involved here. And as a parent, you have to decide, like, are you willing to take a stand because you know in terms of their overall development, it's still better? Or will you give in and say, well, yeah, you're right. I can't, I'm not comfortable being bad cop, but I also, because I want to have a good relationship with you. And I can't be the reason that, you were so emotionally stunted growing up. That's the thought process. And, the truth is, like, as a parent, you have to be bad cop. I'm sorry. You're like, they're not your friends.
They're not.
You can have really like amiable relationships with your kids. And it's important to do that, like trusting and totally open and, loving and all that. But there are going to be a lot of times where you just have to put your foot down and say, no, it sucks, but you do. That's part of the job.
Absolutely. And with the way that I know that social media is at least at a point now where it's very annoying for everybody. And most people are like, I feel like most people are like, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself other than, they're hitting the Skinner box. And that's fine. That's development. At least you're kind of understanding, maybe this isn't a place to go. And with, chat apps being able to do group chats and group texts, like that's really all the social media I need. Now, I will say I have been posting online for far too long. And I feel like if there's not some kind of release valve where I can see a picture, I can see something at Savers, like a Santa Claus porcelain figurine where Santa Claus is bending over to put something under the tree, but his pants fall down and his butt's hanging out. I've seen that before. Right. And I want to share that with people. I want to be like, look at this funny thing. And that's what social media is for me. Or when I've got those, like, the intrusive dumb things that are inside of your brain that you're like, if somebody else doesn't hear that, it's like the videotape in The Ring, like you have to show it to somebody else in 7 days, otherwise it's going to kill you. I have that feeling about some of my thoughts sometimes. It's like, if I don't put down Trooper Pooper Scooper somewhere and somebody else reads it, I'm going to die. So we need to have this. But if I can keep my daughter from being a poster, I think, we always want our children to be better than who we are. So
absolutely.
That's the hope.
We walk so they can run. Yeah. But I think your premise of finding some, touch and grass, real world style hobbies that keep you from seeing that as your first exit lane from reality is a really great aspiration for everybody. And yeah, I would just say, like, I love skiing. I guess I'm just looking at my list here. Snow skiing falls under exercise, sort of.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it is.
Activity.
If you ski hard, if you shred the gnar.
I would be hurt if I tried it.
Yeah. But you can't do that all year. So, I think there are a lot of hobbies like that are seasonal, or you can maintain focus and interest in it for only so long until you're like, all right, I've gotten my fill here. Getting into some sort of either regular rotation of things going on, or like I've done, maybe this would work for other people, finding, more to the core of you, like what are those inner drivers? Like for me, I know if I don't have tools in my hand at least once a month, I'm going to feel like I'm not affecting change properly in the world. Like, it's just how I'm wired. I know that I need to do that. And, I've got a lot of outlets for it. So that's not one that I really have to worry about. But reading, I have to make time for that because and I've been doing it lately and have been loving that. I mean, I built a window seat because with the express purpose of this is the place where I'm going to read.
Okay.
And the minute that I built it, my family just started using it constantly. So it's like,
it's never yours.
I need to, yeah, totally. We need like a hoteling system for this window.
Yeah, I'm glad that I have my pod shack because I have in the house, I have the basement, which is messy and nobody else goes down there, but I have one recliner and there is always something in the recliner. There's either books or there's stuffed animals or there's a blanket. There's something I have to move to sit down.
Yeah.
And look, I have this whole pod shack to myself, so I don't complain about it, but it is that same thing as like, yes, here's the thing for me, the dad, the head of the household. This is where I'm going to come and sit, and my kid and the cat's already in it. Great. Okay.
Yeah, totally. We've all got like an inner Archie bunker.
Yeah.
What are your hobbies right now?
So I work a lot on the store, the online store, and my art downstairs. I suffer from like being somebody who has commodified their art. So like I create things to sell, and I don't hate that because there's not like I have to create so many by this time to sell whatever. I create when I have the time, which is increasingly just not that much. Like I woke up today at 6. I was in the office by 7. I had to be at my regular job at 7:30. So I spent a half hour doing some updates to the store, uploading the Patreon episode, doing some, and then, we're recording this today as well. And then later today, I've got other stuff going on. So like, I need your system because I need to be able to look at it and say, what can I do for the next, like, at least 10 minutes? Like exercise. I can stand up and I can do some squats, or I can, windmill around and hear something, to get up and move around, and have that thing that triggers it, because, I need, and my wife has told me this more often than not, this is something that she picked up from direct sales, is that when you're start doing your calendar for the week, write down your stuff first. Write down, this is when I exercise. This is when I have family time. This is when I am doing these things that are important to my family, and then fill in from there, because then you don't run into like, oh, I've done all this stuff. Now where do I exercise? That's already on there.
Yeah,
and you have to move around that exercise time. So I always thought that was a very interesting way of looking at it. And I'm not a very good planner. I'm trying to get better. It is a process, because I just don't have those like you have. I do X, Y, and Z, and then the thing is, I do the thing and then I put the thing away, and then next thing I need to do the thing, it's there. But my brain is, I'll do the thing and then I'm going to do the next thing and I'm going to do the next thing. And it turns out I'm hungry. I need to go upstairs. And then 4 days later, I come downstairs like, what is all this shit? What is all of this? What is all this stuff here? So that is something that I suffer from, and I'm aware of it, and I'm slowly kind of trying to turn those tides. I'm trying to be better about, the podcast and prepping stuff for it, because your success is measured in a lot of ways, but like to be truly successful, I feel, is consistency, and that's what I want to maintain, is a quality consistency. That's hard to do. So that's not really a hobby. It is something though that is a driving force for me. It's something that keeps me like motivated and doing something, because again, I do like doing it. I do like finding things. I recently found a big wall mirror that's about the mirror itself is 1 foot by 2 foot. I found it at Savers for like $5, and I turned it into a daily affirmations mirror. And I put on it, at the top, it says, your teeth are sharp, your eyes are luminous. And at the bottom, it says, the villagers speak of you in hushed tones. So that when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you've got these daily affirmations on there. And that's just something that's like, I saw the mirror, I had this idea for, like, that affirmations thing has been in the back of my head for a while, but I didn't have a medium for it. And then I found the thing for it. So like, one of my hobbies is that sometimes I have a list of ideas on a notepad on my phone. And every so often, every a couple times a week, I scroll through it and I think about the pieces that I've bought recently, or I'll be downstairs looking at what I have available, and I'll just be scrolling through the ideas and say, what fits here? What can I design that'll fit onto this space? And sometimes it just sits in the back of your head until you're like, there it is. That's the piece. I'm going to put it on there. I paid $5 for it. I put $3 worth of glittery wording and stuff on it, and I'm going to sell it for $50 somewhere. So that is something I like to do, that like upcycle, flipping the cast-offs into something new. And because I make money off of it, I don't know if it's technically a hobby, but it is something that I think I spend my time doing it. It's something that it keeps me from being angry online, is thinking about these things. So that's really one of the biggest drivers that I have. But I need to add in all these little things, because I've got I got a stack of books that I'm not reading, so I gotta fix that.
I've heard like the creative process. I'll get kind of woo woo and just want to hear how other people are creative and what their just overall philosophies are. One person, I don't remember who it was, described that there are, I think, 3 kinds of days as a creative person. There are input days, which are clear. I mean, and you don't even have to know this necessarily, but maybe it's useful in the course of your day because it lets you off the hook a little bit. There are input days where it's purely about gathering information. And it could be, just by living your life and experiencing things, experiencing authentic emotions, reading things, whatever it is. There are output days when suddenly your pod is just overrunneth. You've done the like gesticulations in your brain and you're ready to do something. And it sounds like, with your mirror project or other things that are kind of backburnering for a while, that's kind of what's going on. Like, you've got these provocations that come in, you're dealing with them for a while. There's not even really anything measurable other than just some murky notions, but you get to a point where it's just lightning strikes and you can actually act on in it. And so these are both like, polar opposites, but super important parts of the creative process. You gotta, it's like shit in, shit out, great stuff in, great stuff out. Like you've got to take the time to actually live a life that gets all that great stuff in there. And the third kind of day, and this is the bad kind of day, is the inert day. The day where nothing's set. Yeah. It's the day where you're not getting anything at all out of life. You're not bringing anything into your experience, and you're not kicking anything out. And those days are super demoralizing because you just don't see yourself as part of the fiber. So I do think that hobbies are really good at the input, filling your days with ways that, just help you actually live and have a truly human experience. One other thing you said a second ago about suffering from commodifying your artwork. I completely empathize with that because, I've been more or less a professional musician for the last 25 years. Right. And during COVID, I recorded a bunch of solo albums, which were lucrative. I figured out the right way to market them and, just what the commerce would look like. And faced with the idea of making music purely for the love of it, I can never find the inspiration now. Sure. And it's a real bummer because I love music. And I to get like authentic music experiences now that aren't part of a commodified experience, all I can really do is listen to people that I love and that I have no part in making. Anytime that I start making music, my mind immediately goes to, all right, but what's the end goal here? Like, are we going to be playing shows? Are we going to be recording this? I've forgotten how to do it just for the love of it. And I've been kind of beating myself up about that, actually.
Well, I mean, you had writing down as one of your goals long ago, and I've dabbled in, I've dipped in and out of creative writing and article writing. I was a journalist in the Army, but that writing process part of it and that can you say it? Commodification. There it was.
Commodification.
There we go. When I think about creative writing, if you just say, here's a blank page, go ahead and write about whatever, that's too broad. I can't do anything. But if you do give me a pathway, and I think that in some ways that maybe it is like to sit down with, your keyboard and a blank slate and say, what's going to come out of me here, which is fine, but also to have a direction. Like if somebody says, I want you to write, 1,000-word horror story. Okay.
Yeah.
That gives me, I just need to be a little sometimes, closed in to know like what do you want out of this? And that might be because I'm kind of a people pleaser too. Like if you're just like, do something for yourself. Like I don't know what do you think I should do for myself? Like what do you want to see? What do you like? It's not, I don't create for myself because I don't really care to have it, I guess. Like sometimes I'll make a sticker, like my Clendathu sticker design I made for myself because I liked the concept and I got it, printed as patches and stickers and everything, for other people. But for the most part, I make things because I think this is funny and I think other people would like it too. And maybe they'll give me a couple bucks for it. And I don't think that really, takes out the art side of it because I am still creating and I am still doing things on my own. But yeah, there's that kind of commodification. So I don't know. I tell you, even I bought a model, like a model. I haven't built a plastic model in, since I was a kid. And I was like, I can maybe buy this. And my immediate thought was like, I can live stream it on Patreon. I can do this. I can do that. And then there was just that, like, you can also just sit in the basement and get high on,
on Tester's glue.
On Tester's glue and put this together by yourself while you're listening to a podcast. It's fine.
Yeah. This does not have to be lucrative.
Right. It can be, especially since this is my first time doing it in 30 years. I don't want to have, so anyway, chat, I glued my fingers together. We're going to have to go get the nail polish remover to take care of this.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it's okay just to do it for fun.
Yeah. Well, Jack, I think that's a good place to stop for now. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Keep in mind, we do have that Patreon, patreon.com/hellofaway2die. You will get some bonus episodes, bonus videos. I've been reading The Art of War. If you haven't read that book, if you haven't taken the 45 minutes it takes to read a pamphlet, I'm going through that with commentary. If you want to know all about, yes, you do do need to bring food for your soldiers. That's a smart thing to do, which is pretty much all Art of War is about, is how not to get 100,000 soldiers killed stupidly in the field. So anyway, everybody, thank you for listening. We will talk to you next week. Jack, appreciate you always. People love it when you come on, add a little bit of variety to everything, to the show. So appreciate your time. I know, I'm sure, up on your thing, you're going to come up, podcasting will be up there next.
Technically, it falls under produce,
okay, fair.
and socialize.
And socialize.
Yeah, very much.
This
we can
counts.
kill two birds with one stone.
This counts as socializing. I've talked to a friend today.
Yeah, exactly.
For commodification reasons, but I talked to a friend today. Everybody, thank you, and we will talk to you next week.
Toodaloo.